Hello and welcome. Today, we're not just talking about conflict. We're building a toolkit, a practical, step-by-step guide for handling those arguments that just seem to blow up out of nowhere. This isn't about fuzzy advice. It's a system. Let's dive in.
So let's start with a question. Have you ever found yourself in a massive fight over something, something tiny, like a dirty dish left in the sink or a wet towel on the floor, and all of a sudden the emotional volume is at 1,000? If you're nodding along, you are absolutely not alone. And more importantly, there's a reason for it. It's a pattern called Gunnysacking. Just picture it. Every little frustration, every tiny annoyance that seems too small to mention, you just stuff it into a big burlap sack. You carry it around, and it gets heavier and heavier and heavier. Until one day, one more tiny thing, the final straw, rips the whole bag open. This isn't about being a bad person. It's about a bad system.
And this is a really important shift in thinking. The myth is that you just have a bad temper, but the reality, that explosion is a biological event. Your nervous system literally gets flooded with stress hormones, and your rational brain goes offline. See, this isn't a moral failing, it's a mechanical problem. And the great thing about mechanical problems is they can be fixed.
Okay, so let's start building that toolkit. And the first and most important place we're going to work is right inside your own head. This is the prep work you do before you even open your mouth. And honestly, it's where you have the most power to change the outcome.
The first tool is a fascinating bit of brain science. It turns out that when you can put a precise name on what you're feeling, not just mad, but I feel dismissed, or I feel invisible, it actually calms down the brain's alarm center. It's like a circuit breaker. You shift from holding this vague, hot grenade of rage to having a clear, specific point that you can actually talk about.
And I love this way of putting it. Naming the feeling is an active choice. It's hitting the brakes. Just swallowing it down might feel easier in the moment, but you're not fixing anything. You're just cutting the brake line and setting yourself up for a much bigger crash down the road.
So our next internal tool builds right on that. It's based on the work of Dr. John Gottman, who makes this brilliant distinction between a complaint and a criticism. A complaint is about a specific event. A criticism is a personal attack. And the best way to make sure you're delivering the first and not the second, write it down first. Even just in your phone's notes. It forces you to turn that raw emotion into structured language and helps you get to the heart of the matter. And this last piece of prep work might be the most powerful of all. Before you say what's wrong, state your shared positive goal. Something as simple as, hey, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I really want us to feel like we're on the same team, can completely change the tone of a conversation before it even begins. It signals this isn't an attack. This is a repair job we're going to do together. So you've done your prep work. But let's be real, sometimes things still get heated. What do you do then? Now we need the tools for when you're in the moment, the emergency kit for when tensions are high. Okay, this first tool is pure prevention. It's about stopping that gunny sack from ever getting full. The rule is simple. If something small bothers you, you have a 2-hour window to say one low-key sentence about it. That's all. Hey, can we find a home for the mail? No big drama, no long speech. It just gives you permission to clear the air before it ever gets a chance to get stale. But what if you miss that window and things do escalate? You know that feeling? Heart pounding, chest tight, you can't think straight. That's called flooding. Your rational brain is offline. You are biologically incapable of having a good conversation. The skill here is to agree on a signal ahead of time. A word like pause or a simple hand gesture that means an immediate, no questions asked, 25-minute break. It's not running away, it's hitting the physiological reset button. And why 25 minutes? Well, it's not a random number. The science is very clear on this. It takes at least 20 minutes for those stress hormones to actually leave your bloodstream and for your nervous system to calm down. If you try to come back any sooner, you're just walking right back into the fire, still biologically primed for a fight. This one is a moment of radical self-honesty. When you feel that surge of anger that seems way too big for the situation, you have to stop and ask yourself, is this really about the missed call? Or is this about 6 months of feeling unimportant, and the missed call is just the convenient disguise that old resentment is wearing today? Finding the real problem is the only way to solve the real problem. Okay, we've got our internal prep and our in-the-moment skills. The final piece of the puzzle is building better systems, the long-term habits that make explosions less likely to happen in the first place. This is about relationship maintenance.
So much of why we stuff things down is because bringing something up feels like an ambush. This tool completely eliminates that. You schedule a short, 10-minute check-in once a week. Same time, same place. Each person gets to air one small thing. That's it. It creates a predictable, safe container for the small stuff, so it never has a chance to become big stuff.
This really says it all, doesn't it? You're transforming a source of anxiety into a routine. It's the difference between a meeting you have on your calendar and a surprise attack. One creates safety, the other creates chaos. This tool is all about managing your relationship's emotional bank account. If you make a withdrawal by voicing a complaint, you need to make a deposit. So after you've had that tough conversation, follow it up with a specific, genuine appreciation. This isn't about manipulation. It's about reminding each other that the foundation of goodwill and respect is still there.
And here's the why behind it. Gottman's research found that the happiest, most stable relationships have a magic ratio. For every one negative interaction, there are at least 5 positive ones. That huge positive buffer is what makes it safe to hear a complaint. The appreciation is how you build and maintain that buffer. So here's the whole thing in a nutshell. On one side, you've got the old, damaging cycle. You store it, you explode, you fight while you're flooded. And on the other, you have the new approach, using release valves, making specific complaints, and taking those crucial biological breaks. It's a total shift from a reactive mess to a proactive, intentional system. All right, I know we just covered 8 new tools, and that can feel like a lot to take in at once. So let's make it really simple. If you're going to start somewhere, where should you begin? Start right here. Just focus on these 2. First, work on the internal skill. Get into the habit of naming your emotion with precision before you say anything. Get your own house in order. And second, build the external system. Propose that 10-minute Monday check-in. It creates safety. If you can master just these 2, you will fundamentally change how conflict works in your relationship. And that brings us to our final thought, because this isn't just about knowing the tools. It's about having the courage to use them. So I'll leave you with this question. What is the one small, true thing you need to say today? The thing you can bring up with skill and kindness instead of packing it away until its weight becomes too much for anyone to bear.